What's going on, everybody? Hopefully you're all doing well. In this video, I want to talk about some recent Mt. Gox transfers. We're also going to talk about a new spot Bitcoin ETF that just launched, and we're going to talk about how we saw outflows from the spot Bitcoin ETFs after seeing pretty good consistent inflows over the last few weeks. I also wanted to point out something for Bitcoin on the chart as well as Iren stock. Now, if you guys get something useful out of this, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. Now, first off, this Mt. Gox news, and here's something interesting. Despite this, we didn't really see Bitcoin drop all that much. Mt. Gox just moved $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. However, Bitcoin traders may have finally gotten tired of the Mt. Gox FUD, with very little reaction from this $3 billion announcement. On July 30th, Mt. Gox moved around 47,229 Bitcoin, and crypto commentators have told Cointelegraph that they really haven't seen any signs of increased sell pressure, suggesting that creditors are more likely to hodl. And here's a quote: if you think about the users that were owed Bitcoin from Mt. Gox, these were OG Bitcoiners. These are the people buying Bitcoin 5 to 10 years ago. They believed in the industry. They believed in the asset. I don't know about 5 years ago, much longer than that, but okay. These Mt. Gox moves became so usual that the market doesn't give a flying F. Now, we're going to drastically see this number change, obviously, in the course of days, likely, but so far, over 41.5% of the Bitcoin has been redistributed. We also have some recent news regarding Greyscale and their mini spot ETF, and it's starting off ultra low at a 0.15% fee. Of course, rather than changing their original funds fee structure, they're just going to create another one. But I'll leave this down below for you guys. It goes into a little more details. I just figured I'd mention this. Keeping with the spot Bitcoin ETF theme, we did see some record outflows. $18 million of outflows, not that big. Of course, IBIT saw an increase, $74 million in inflow. We also saw GBTC pretty much match that with $73 million of outflows, as well as an outflow from ARK, VanEck, and Bitwise, Fidelity. Pretty much everybody posted outflows or no flows except for IBIT, who posted an inflow. Now, before I get to Bitcoin and Iren's chart, I did want to tell you guys that BlackRock's spot Ethereum ETF saw $118 million of inflows yesterday. And look at what we've been noticing from Greyscale's Eth ETF. You know, it started out with such high outflows, 300 to 400 million, and it is starting to slow down. We had a $120 million outflow day on July 30th, but you'll see that it is trending down. Maybe we take up towards 200 million. But I think seeing 400 million, 350 million in outflows, I think that has passed now, and we're probably going to be looking at between 100 to 200 million in outflows, eventually under 100 million outflow days, as the funds holders and move around their money decide to get into different lower fees funds. But similar to Bitcoin, what did we see with GBTC? At the beginning, we saw heavy outflows, slowly kind of wane down, still getting outflows from them, but to a lesser extent. I think similar is going to happen with Ethereum. And just like Bitcoin saw about a week, 2 weeks of a stagnation after the ETFs, a decline in price after the ETFs went live, I think Ethereum will see similar, and so far that seems to be the case. We're going to continue to see kind of a boredom, a stagnation as Greyscale exits, but then we will see that resurgence, that rally that we saw, just like with Bitcoin, once we get to overall inflows. And check this out, guys. I want to show something that has definitely been working, that the market has been reacting to, and we might continue to see this play out. We're seeing these divergences that do mark reversals. The market is respecting these divergences. Looking back here in March, we saw a bearish divergence. RSI was coming down. Price was still rising at the time. This marked the top. This literally marked the top here. We saw this big divergence, and we basically started trading sideways, if not declining in price. What did we see next? Another divergence. We saw the price was basically level. However, the RSI was losing momentum, was dropping. Here's another divergence, and this did basically mark another local top before we came down. And then we saw a bullish RSI divergence where the RSI came to higher lows. However, the price, you'll see that these line up here. Look at where these line up. We saw lower lows on the price, higher lows on RSI, bullish RSI divergence, and we did pop. As I said, I do think this is going to be the bottom this cycle, or local bottom, I should say. The bottom was 15K, obviously, but I do think this 55, 54K, we're not going to get lower than that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, of course, but I'm just calling it out now. And then up here, we do have a bearish RSI divergence we talked about a few days ago. Lower highs on the RSI, pretty much the same level on the chart, same level where the candles close at least. And it looks like a double top. I mean, maybe we come down, fill out this channel like I talked about, come down to like 63, maybe takes a little longer, we go to 64, cool down, and then bounce, head higher. The RSI divergence, bearish divergence plays out, and it does take a drop. And then we go on to run. But just keep an eye on these divergences. I am inclined to think that we will see a little bit of a pullback, which could definitely make sense with any potential sell pressure from Mt. Gox. Although I do believe it's pretty much priced in. The fact is, once Bitcoin gets unlocked that isn't previously available, it is going to create some sell pressure. But, you know, the market is pretty much priced it in. All the fear, all the worry about Mt. Gox, all the selling off, people doubting that the rally is going to continue. To me, you know, most of the fear is priced in, and this may be the bottom. You know, we may continue higher, eventually break new all-time highs. If you follow the cycle, right around now is when we get the parabolic rally. Maybe this is the first time that it's broken this cycle, but you know, that's going against the grain to expect something different than what we have seen since Bitcoin's history. So just keep that in mind, you know. The ball is still in the bull's court. All right, now I want to look at Iren stock. A lot of people are worried about it. They're saying they bought and then it keeps pulling back. Well, if you follow its long-term pattern, you know, it was due for a pullback. We were seeing a bearish divergence on the RSI right here. Higher highs, lower highs on the RSI. That did mark the top, believe it or not. These divergences are fantastic if you can spot them out. If we continue pulling back, you know, 8 is a real possibility. Do I think we're going to come down to 6? I find it kind of unlikely, but, you know, the pattern does bring it down to 6. If the market wants to take it there, it can certainly go there. Do I think Iren is a good buy from 10 to 8? I do, because what if we don't go down to 6? If you're bullish on Iren on the rest of the cycle, I do think this is a great stock to be in. I do think it's going to overall appreciate in price through the rest of the cycle. And any pullbacks on Iren are great buying opportunities. Same with CleanSpark, same with BTBT, same with Riot, same with many of these Bitcoin miners, whether I hold them or not. Let's face it, you know, this industry, we are going to see a continued rally. The Bitcoin bull run is not over yet. This will be like the weakest bull run cycle in history if this is where things end. I did want to point out something also on Iren. We are seeing a bullish divergence. RSI is rising, price is dropping, and it does look like the market already reacted to this divergence. But, you know, these are indications that things are ready to reverse soon. So I don't think things are going much lower. Of course, if you see Bitcoin come down, we might get lucky, get Iren in the 8s. But you want to take advantage of your favorite stocks while they're cheap, while they're discounted. We're looking at about a 40% drop from the run we had, and we have seen bigger drops on past runs. For instance, right here we saw like a 60%, I think. If you go to like the bottom, you know, 53% drop. We see like a 60, I think, right here. I looked earlier, like a 62% drop, you know. I mean, so we're kind of right in line. Maybe we drop a little more, but you know, a 50% drop brings us to like 750. Do we see the same drops we did back earlier in the cycle? Maybe, maybe not. But, you know, to me, things are starting to tighten up. I mean, look at the chart here. You can see that we're starting to kind of consolidate. We're starting to get this descending wedge. Typically, this is bullish. You get a breakout to the upside. You start taking out these previous highs, create higher lows, higher highs, and start stepping up again. You know, I do think the downside risk with Iren is limited. I do think we're going to reverse soon, and Iren is a good buy from 10 to 8, or even a solid DCA here. Now, what are you guys taking advantage of today? Seems like a kind of mixed day. Most Bitcoin miners are green right now, as of this upload at least. Hopefully you guys took advantage of yesterday, the day before. These red days, you have to take advantage while we're in an overall bull market. But thanks, as always, for your support, guys. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.